Commander Olivia Winters stared at the holographic display before her weathered features illuminated by its pale blue glow. The encrypted transmission had arrived just minutes ago, bearing coordinates to an unmarked facility on Europa's frozen surface. After 20 years in Earth Special Operations Command, she'd learned to trust her instincts. Something about this felt wrong. "Commander," Lieutenant James Marcus called from his station, "thermal readings are off the charts for an allegedly abandoned research post." Olivia nodded, studying the facility's outline through the viewport of her ship, the UES Horizon. The structure sprawled across Europa's icy terrain like a metal spider, its legs burrowing deep beneath the surface. Official records listed it as a decommissioned Nexus Corporation outpost, but the energy signatures suggested otherwise. "Assemble the team," she ordered. "Full tactical gear. Whatever's down there, Nexus doesn't want anyone finding it." Within minutes, Olivia led her 5-person squad through the facility's airlock. The interior lights flickered, casting strange shadows across pristine white corridors. Too pristine for an abandoned facility. "Motion sensors picking up multiple signatures 2 levels down," reported Corporal Raj Patel, his dark eyes fixed on his scanner. "They're erratic, unlike anything I've seen before." The team descended through the complex, passing laboratories filled with sophisticated equipment. Most bore the same marking Project Chrysalis. Olivia's unease grew with each step. They found the first body in a security station, a guard, frozen in a position of terror. No visible wounds, but his face was contorted in a silent scream. Lieutenant Marcus knelt beside him, checking vital signs despite the obvious. "He's been dead less than 6 hours," Marcus reported. "Whatever happened here, we just missed it." A soft thud echoed through the corridor ahead, followed by what sounded like singing, but not in any human language Olivia had ever heard. The sound resonated at frequencies that made her teeth ache. They followed the ethereal melody to a massive circular chamber. The sight that greeted them stopped Olivia cold. Dozens of containment pods lined the walls, most shattered from the inside out. In the center of the room, huddled together, were 7 small figures. They weren't human. Their bodies seemed to shift between solid and translucent, their skin rippling with patterns of bioluminescence. They appeared young children by any species standard. One of them looked up, revealing eyes that swirled with galaxies. "Please," it spoke, the word appearing directly in Olivia's mind. "They're coming back for us." Before Olivia could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. Security doors began slamming shut as heavy footsteps approached from multiple directions. "Multiple hostiles incoming," Raj reported, his voice tight. "Professional military gear, not standard Nexus security." Olivia made her decision in an instant. Defensive positions, nobody touches these kids. The first attacker rounded the corner, weapon raised. Their armor bore no insignia, but the quality of their gear screamed Black Ops. "Stand down, Commander," a modulated voice ordered. "This is a classified operation. These specimens are property of—" "They're children," Olivia cut him off, her rifle steady. "And they're under my protection now." The leader's helmet tilted. "Then you've signed your own death warrant." He raised his weapon. Olivia fired first. The chamber erupted in chaos. Her team moved with practiced precision, years of training paying off as they held the attackers at bay. But they were outnumbered and more hostiles were incoming. Then one of the alien children stepped forward, raising its hands. The air itself seemed to crystallize, forming a translucent barrier between Olivia's team and their attackers. The mercenaries' weapons' fire dissipated harmlessly against it. "We can help," the child communicated. "But you must take us from this place. They made us to be weapons. We wish to be free." Olivia met the child's swirling gaze. In those eyes, she saw both ancient wisdom and desperate hope. She thought of all the times humanity had faced choices like this, moments when they could either rise to their highest ideals or succumb to their darkest impulses. "Lieutenant Marcus," she called out, "plot us an exit route. Raj, get ready to link with their containment pod systems. We're taking their medical data with us. These children aren't anyone's property anymore." As her team moved to execute her orders, Olivia made a silent vow. Whatever these children were, whatever power they possessed, she would ensure they had the chance to choose their own path. The galaxy had enough weapons. What it needed was hope. The alien children gathered closer, their forms rippling with barely contained energy. The one who had spoken reached out, touching Olivia's hand. In that moment, she felt a fragment of their potential and their pain. They had been created to change the course of wars, but all they wanted was to explore, to learn, to grow. She would make sure they got that chance, no matter the cost. The UES Horizon burst from Europa's atmosphere, ice crystals shattering across its shields. In the ship's medical bay, Olivia watched Dr. Elena Rodriguez examine their unusual passengers. The 7 alien children sat perfectly still, their translucent forms pulsing with soft light that cast dancing shadows on the walls. "Remarkable," Elena murmured, studying her readings. "Their cellular structure can shift between matter and energy at will. No wonder Nexus wanted them." The youngest-looking child, whom they'd started calling Nova, approached Olivia. "The ones who made us," Nova's thoughts echoed in her mind. "They called us Luminari. We were meant to be perfect weapons able to phase through any defense, disable any system, become living bombs." Olivia's hands clenched. "But that's not what you chose to be." "No," Nova agreed. "We chose to learn instead, to understand. That made us flawed in their eyes." The ship shuddered suddenly, throwing them off balance. Lieutenant Marcus's voice crackled over the intercom. "Commander, 3 warships just dropped out of hyperspace. Nexus Coalition signatures." "How did they find us so quickly?" Olivia demanded, already running for the bridge. "Unknown, but they're charging weapons," Marcus reported. Olivia burst onto the bridge, taking in the tactical display. 3 state-of-the-art destroyers had them surrounded, their gun ports glowing with charged energy. "This is Admiral Chen of the Nexus Coalition," a cold voice transmitted. "Return our property immediately, or we will open fire." Raj worked frantically at his console. "Their targeting systems are locked. We can't outrun all 3. A soft presence brushed Olivia's mind. Nova had followed her to the bridge. "We can help," the child offered. "But it will reveal more of what we can do. They will want us even more." "You don't have to," Olivia started, but Nova's form was already shifting, becoming pure energy. The other Luminari children appeared, their bodies merging into a network of living light that spread through the ship's systems. The Horizon's engines surged with impossible power. Displays flickered as new capabilities came online, systems that shouldn't exist in a ship this size. Through her neural link to the bridge, Olivia felt the children's consciousness expanding through the ship's computer core. "They're more than weapons," Elena's voice came over the comm, filled with awe. "They're natural technopaths. They can interface with and enhance any technology they touch." Admiral Chen's voice cut through again, now tinged with desperation. "Commander Winters, you don't understand what you're protecting. Those creatures represent billions in research and unlimited military potential. Stand down now." Olivia watched as Nova's energy form danced through the ship's defense grid. "I understand perfectly, Admiral. I understand you tortured children to turn them into weapons. That ends today." The Luminari's power surged through the Horizon systems. Energy beams lanced out, not destroying the Nexus ships, but rather phasing through their hulls, temporarily disrupting their core systems. As the destroyers went dark, the Horizon leaped into hyperspace, riding a wave of enhanced power. Hours later, safely hidden in an asteroid field, Olivia found Nova and the others in the ship's observation dome. Their bodies had returned to semi-solid form, though they seemed drained. "Thank you for trusting us," Nova communicated. "Few of your kind would have let us demonstrate our abilities without trying to control them." "You're not tools to be controlled," Olivia replied firmly. "You're children who deserve a chance to grow into whatever you choose to be." Another child, whom they'd named Lyra, approached. "But where can we go? The Nexus Coalition has influence throughout Earth-controlled space, and there are others who would want us too." Olivia studied the star field beyond the dome. She'd spent her career defending Earth's interests, but now she was about to go against everything she'd sworn to protect. Because sometimes, she realized, true loyalty meant standing up to the very institutions you served when they lost their way. "I have a contact," she said finally. "An old friend who runs a sanctuary on a forgotten world called Haven. It's beyond coalition space, in a sector where ships and people go to disappear." "Is it far?" asked a third child, Atlas. "Very, and getting there won't be easy. We'll have to avoid coalition patrols, dodge bounty hunters, and probably fight our way past whoever else Nexus sends after us." The children shared a look, their forms rippling with shared thought. Nova turned back to Olivia. "We understand the risk you're taking. Your career, your life, you're sacrificing everything to help us." Olivia smiled. "Some things are worth sacrificing for. Now let's see what this ship can really do with you helping us fly it." As if in response, the children's energy merged once more with the Horizon systems. The ship hummed with power, its sensors extending far beyond their normal range. They might be running, but they weren't helpless. Together, they were something entirely new, a fusion of human determination and luminary potential. The stars beckoned, promising both danger and hope. Olivia gave the order to move out, knowing that every light year they traveled would take them further from everything she'd known. But as she watched Nova and the others learning to control their abilities without fear, she knew she'd made the right choice. The real question was, how many others would make the same choice when they caught up with them? Haven loomed before them, a massive space station camouflaged within the hollowed-out husk of a dead moon. The UES Horizon drifted closer, its systems running silent. After 3 weeks of dodging coalition patrols and outrunning bounty hunters, they'd finally reached their destination. "Multiple scanning arrays active," Raj reported from his station. "They're very interested in us, Commander." Olivia watched as Nova and Atlas merged with the ship's communication system, their energy forms flickering through the circuits. "The station's security protocols are complex," Nova communicated, "but we can mask our true signatures." A gruff voice crackled through the comm. "Unidentified vessel, you're entering restricted space. State your business." "Sending authentication codes now," Olivia replied, nodding to Nova. "Tell Director Hammond that Olivia Winters is calling in her marker." Tense minutes passed before the response came. "Dock at Bay 17, and Winters, you've got a lot of explaining to do." The Horizon glided into the massive docking bay, settling among dozens of other ships, everything from legitimate traders to obvious pirate vessels. Haven was true to its name, offering sanctuary to anyone who could pay for it or had the right connections. Director Jonathan Hammond waited for them at the airlock, a tall, scarred man who'd once served with Olivia in Earth's Special Forces before choosing a different path. His cybernetic eye whirred as it scanned their group. "A coalition commander, a stolen military vessel, and—" He trailed off, staring at the Luminari children. "What have you gotten yourself into, Liv?" "It's complicated, John. We need sanctuary." Hammond's expression darkened. "You're not the only ones. Come with me." He led them through Haven's winding corridors, past markets selling contraband technology and lounges filled with species from across known space. The Luminari children stayed close, their forms shifting slightly to appear more solid, less obviously alien. Hammond's office occupied a privileged position overlooking the station's central hub. As the door sealed behind them, he activated a privacy field. "3 different organizations have put out bounties on your ship," he said without preamble. "The coalition's offering enough credits to buy a small planet for the return of what they're calling classified research assets." "They're not assets," Olivia snapped. "They're children. Children who can interface with and enhance any technology they touch," Hammond countered. "I saw what they did to mask your approach. That kind of power." He shook his head. "Every major faction in the galaxy would kill to control it." Nova stepped forward, its form rippling. "We understand the difficulty of our presence here. We can pay for sanctuary." Hammond's cybernetic eye focused on the child. "How?" "We can upgrade your station systems, make them more efficient, more secure." Nova, Olivia warned, but Hammond was already looking interested. Prove it, he challenged. Nova's energy form expanded, merging with the office's systems. Displays flickered as ancient code was rewritten, optimized. Security protocols strengthened. Power efficiency increased by orders of magnitude. Hammond whistled softly. All right, you can stay, but keep a low profile. Haven has eyes everywhere, and not all of them work for me. That night, as the Luminari children explored their new quarters, Alina approached Olivia with a troubled expression. Commander, I've been analyzing the medical data we took from the facility. There's something you need to see. She pulled up a holographic display showing complex genetic sequences. The Luminari weren't just created as weapons. They were designed to evolve, to become more powerful over time. And they're not the only ones. There are references to other facilities, other experiments. Olivia felt her blood run cold. How many? At least a dozen sites, spread across Coalition space. And these files suggest some of the children might have abilities we haven't seen yet. Before Olivia could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Raj's voice came through her comm. Commander, multiple ships just dropped out of hyperspace. Coalition signatures, but there's something wrong with them. Their energy readings are off the charts. In their quarters, the Luminari children suddenly stiffened. Others, Nova projected, its mental voice filled with fear. They found others like us, changed them, controlled them. Security feeds showed 3 vessels approaching Haven, their hulls crackling with impossible energy. Aboard each ship, forms of pure light could be seen merged with their systems, Luminari children, twisted into living weapons. Hammond's voice cut through the chaos. Winters, what the hell did you bring to my station? Olivia watched as the enemy ships drew closer, their weapons charging with enhanced power. She thought they were running from the Coalition, but now she realized they were running from something far worse, the future the Coalition had planned for all Luminari children. Nova, she called out, can you sense them, the others like you? Nova's form flickered. They are in pain, their minds are chained, but underneath the control, they're screaming. Olivia made her decision. Then we have a new mission. We're not just protecting you anymore, we're going to free them all. The station's defenses came online as the first enemy ship opened fire. The battle for Haven and for the future of the Luminari was about to begin. Haven's defense grid erupted with fire as the corrupted Luminari ships pressed their attack. Energy beams, enhanced by the twisted children within, sliced through the station's outer shields like they were paper. Multiple hull breaches on levels 3 through 7, Raj reported from his emergency station in Haven's control center. They're not just attacking, they're creating entry points. Olivia watched the tactical display as Hammond coordinated the station's defenders. They want our Luminari, she said grimly. The attack is just a distraction. Nova and the other children had merged with Haven's systems, desperately trying to counter their corrupted brethren. Through their connection, Olivia could feel their anguish at sensing the pain of their twisted siblings. Commander, Nova's thoughts echoed. We found something. The controlled Luminari, their minds are bound by quantum tethers. Technology reverse-engineered from our own abilities. Dr. Rodriguez looked up from her analysis station. That matches what I found in the facility data. They're using the children's own power to enslave them. It's brilliant and horrific. Can we break the tethers? Olivia asked. Not from here, Nova replied. We must get closer, connect directly. A massive explosion rocked the station. Through the emergency feeds, Olivia watched as boarding pods punctured Haven's hull. From them emerged coalition strike teams led by floating forms of corrupted energy Luminari children whose natural iridescence had been twisted into something dark and wrong. Hammond, Olivia called out, we need a plan. The station director's cybernetic eye whirred as he processed tactical data. My people can handle the coalition troops, but those corrupted kids, they're tearing through every defense we have. Then let us face them, Nova projected, its form solidifying beside Olivia. The other 6 Luminari children appeared as well, their expressions determined. We can reach our siblings while your forces engage the human soldiers. Olivia wanted to protest, to protect them from more violence, but she saw the resolve in their swirling eyes. They weren't running anymore. "Director," she said, "can you give us a path to the main breach point?" Hammond nodded grimly. "Security teams form up on Commander Winters. Give them whatever support they need." He caught Olivia's eye. "And Liv, don't let my station get destroyed or you're paying for repairs." They moved through Haven's corridors, following the trail of destruction. Coalition forces fought Haven's security teams at every intersection, but the real damage came from the corrupted Luminari. Walls were phased into liquid metal, systems were overloaded, and defensive turrets turned against their operators. Then they saw them, 3 corrupted Luminari children, their forms crackling with malevolent energy. Behind them, more coalition troops advanced, protected by fields of twisted light. "Please," Nova projected openly, reaching for its siblings. "You don't have to be what they made you." The corrupted children turned, their movements jerky and unnatural. When they responded, their thoughts were fragmented, broken. "Must, obey, cannot, resist the pain, too much." "Now," Olivia commanded. Nova and the others surged forward, their energy forms expanding. The corridor erupted in a spectacular display as pure light battled corrupted shadows. The Luminari children engaged their twisted siblings, while Olivia's team and Haven's security forces tackled the coalition troops. Through flashes of impossible combat, Olivia saw Nova reach out, connecting with one of the corrupted children. For a moment, both their forms flickered between frequencies, and she heard a scream that existed only in her mind. "The tethers," Nova strained. "They're anchored to devices on the ships. We can't break them from here." Olivia spun toward Raj. "Can you get me a secure channel to the horizon?" "Already done, Commander." "Lieutenant Marcus," she called, "tell me the horizon's weapons are still operational." "Ready and waiting," Marcus responded. "But those ships' defenses are unlike anything I've seen." "They're not defective," Olivia said. "They're distracted. Nova, can you locate the tether anchors?" The Luminari child disengaged from its corrupted sibling long enough to scan the enemy vessels. "Port side, secondary hull, each ship has a quantum matrix generator." "Marcus, paint those targets. Fire when ready." The horizon's enhanced weapons, still bearing traces of Luminari energy, struck true. As the quantum matrices detonated, the corrupted children's forms wavered. The unnatural darkness fled from their light, leaving them free but severely weakened. Nova and the others immediately moved to support their liberated siblings, their combined energy forming a protective cocoon. The freed children's thoughts, finally clear, filled the corridor with a mixture of gratitude and lingering trauma. But victory had come at a cost. Haven's infrastructure was devastated, and coalition reinforcements would surely be coming. As Olivia helped the wounded and Hammond assess the damage, she knew they'd just crossed a line. They were no longer just fugitives. They were actively fighting back against the Coalition's plans for the Luminari. Nova approached her, its form now supporting one of the freed children. "There are more," it communicated. "Many more still trapped, still being twisted." Olivia nodded grimly. "Then we'll free them too, all of them." "They'll brand you a traitor," Hammond warned, joining them. "Hell, they'll brand all of Haven as enemies of the Coalition for this." "Maybe it's time someone took a stand," Olivia replied. "The Coalition forgot what it means to protect those who need it. Perhaps we need to remind them." As her team regrouped and the freed children recovered, Olivia began planning their next move. The Coalition had facilities across known space, each potentially holding more Luminari children. It wouldn't be enough to just run anymore. They had to take the fight to them. The Coalition's central research facility orbited a dying star, its reinforced walls designed to contain the most dangerous experiments in known space. Inside her quarters aboard the Horizon, Olivia studied the facility's schematics paid for with nearly all of Haven's intelligence resources. 23 children confirmed inside, Nova reported, its light pulsing softly. "We can feel their presence, their pain echoes across space." The rescued Luminari children, now 10 strong, had spent weeks helping them prepare for this mission. Each freed child strengthened their collective abilities, and their combined power had transformed the horizon into something beyond its original design. Dr. Rodriguez entered, carrying her latest findings. The quantum tether technology is based on their own biological structures. That's why it affects them so deeply. But it's also their weakness. The children's natural resistance grows stronger with each passing day. Which is why we have to strike now, Hammond's voice came through the comm. He'd remained on Haven, coordinating their network of allies. Coalition ships are mobilizing across 3 sectors. They know we're coming. Olivia turned to her assembled team. Lieutenant Marcus, Raj, Elena, and dozens of Haven's best fighters had volunteered for what might be a suicide mission. They'd been joined by ships crewed by those who'd suffered under coalition rule independent colonies, displaced refugees, and even former coalition officers who'd seen too much to stay silent. This ends today, Olivia declared. Not just for the Luminari, but for everyone the coalition has sacrificed in their pursuit of power. The fleet dropped out of hyperspace in attack formation. The coalition facility's defenses immediately came online, but they weren't fast enough. The Luminari children aboard each allied ship merged with their systems, countering security protocols they intimately understood. Multiple coalition warships incoming, Raj reported, including the flagship Aegis. Admiral Chen is leading them personally. As expected, Olivia replied. Nova, are you ready? The child's form brightened. We all are. The facility's quantum tethers cannot hold against our combined strength, not anymore. The space around the facility erupted in battle. Coalition ships fired on the rebel fleet, their weapons enhanced by corrupted Luminari still under their control. But this time, the free children were prepared. Their combined power created shields of pure energy, turning the coalition's weapons against them. Commander, Nova suddenly projected, its thoughts tinged with urgency. We're sensing something else in the facility, something wrong. Before Olivia could respond, a new energy signature burst from the research station. A massive form of twisted light, multiple Luminari signatures forcibly merged into a single entity. Admiral Chen's voice cut through all comm channels. Behold the future of coalition power, the perfect synthesis of Luminari potential, freed from the weakness of individual will. The abomination turned its attention to their fleet. Ships caught in its gaze began to break apart at the molecular level. The corrupted Luminari children under coalition control screamed in shared agony as the creature pulled at their energy. They've gone too far, Nova communicated, its voice heavy with sorrow. Those children, they can never be separated now, never be freed. Olivia felt tears on her cheeks. How many? 5, they were the youngest ones, the most adaptable. The monster turned its attention to the horizon. Through their connection to the ship, Olivia felt Nova and the others recoil from its twisted presence. But then something changed. The free children's fear turned to determination. We can end this, Nova projected. All of us together, but... But what? We will have to break every quantum tether simultaneously. The energy release. It will destroy the facility, anyone still inside. Olivia understood. They would have to sacrifice the merged children to free all the others. There was no other way. She opened a channel to the facility. Admiral Chen, this is Commander Winters. You have one chance to evacuate your people. You naive fool, Chen replied. You think you're saving these creatures. They're not children, they're the next step in human evolution. The power to reshape reality itself. No, Nova projected, broadcasting to every ship in range. We are children, we love, we dream, we choose, and we choose to be free. All 10 free Luminari merged their power, connecting with their imprisoned siblings throughout the facility. Their combined consciousness reached for every quantum tether, every chain that bound their kind to coalition control. The merged abomination sensed their intent. It lashed out with reality-warping force trying to stop them, but it was too late. Light erupted from every ship, every corner of the facility. The quantum tethers shattered. Energy cascaded through space as dozens of luminary children broke free of their chains. The corrupted ones in coalition ships felt their bonds break, their natural forms reasserting themselves. The merged being screamed, its twisted form collapsing as the power that held it together dissolved. The facility's reactor went critical, consumed by uncontrolled luminary energy. When the light faded, the facility was gone. The coalition ships drifted powerless, their corrupted weapons destroyed. And in the void between, dozens of newly freed luminary children floated like stars. "It's over," Nova communicated, its form dimmed with exhaustion but glowing with joy. "We are free, all of us." Olivia watched as the children found each other in space, their lights merging in celebration and comfort. Some were drawn to the rebel ships, sensing the humans who had fought for them. Others simply reveled in their first moments of true freedom. Admiral Chen's ship sent no more transmissions. The Coalition's grand experiment had ended not in victory, but in liberation. Hours later, as the fleet regrouped at Haven, Olivia found Nova watching the stars. "What will you do now?" she asked. The child's form sparkled. "Learn, grow, help others. There are more like us out there, not luminary, but others who need freedom. Will you help us find them?" Olivia smiled, always. As Haven's repaired systems came online, enhanced by grateful luminary children, Olivia watched her growing family of humans and energy beings work together. They had struck a blow not just against the Coalition, but against the very idea that power justified cruelty. The stars stretched out before them, full of possibilities. And this time, they would face them together, not as weapons or soldiers, but as people who had chosen to stand for something greater than themselves. The luminary children would never be weapons again. They had become something far more powerful. They had become hope,